start now to have a look at Link, a 360 degrees look at where the opportunities are in all the sectors. But as we discuss them here on the Link tonight, I have the privilege to host a lawyer and an advocate from Crystal Advocates. His name is Dennis Kakembo. You're very welcome, Dennis.
Thank you, Malcolm.
To the Link.
Thank you so much.
Quickly, you've been following developments in the oil and gas sector. The Ugandan government, the Tanzanian government, this excited the markets, this excited investors, this excited people in the country about where the oil and gas industry is heading and what businesses should do, how they should get prepared, how people should prepare themselves for those opportunities, and that included oil companies as well, etc. So the environment seems to be very good despite all the underlying factors that you may talk of. What we do here on the Link, though, is for us to be able to link people to opportunities, and that's what the discussion that we really want to have. First of all, from the eyes, from where you sit, in the law of business, with interests in oil and gas management, etc. What is the state of affairs as we move on now to looking at some of the opportunities therein?
The magical word everyone has been talking about is final investment decision for the last so many years. But breaking down final investment decision for the viewers, it is simply an irreversible decision that the oil companies and the government will make to proceed and develop Uganda's oil discoveries. Of course, to get to final investment decision, every party involved in oil and gas commercialization has got to be satisfied that their interests are catered for. And I think this is the reason why discussions have been protracted, because the government and the oil companies are treating carefully, making sure that before they fully commit to make the decision to sink in a lot of money, which is estimated to be around $20 billion, everyone is fully catered for.
Sure.
Of course, as you've rightly mentioned, based on the recent agreements we've seen signed, the Total president visit Uganda, and then Uganda's president visit Tanzania about 2 weeks ago, there are significant strides which are being made, and it looks very likely that a final investment decision is imminent and is on the horizon. Now, if you do have final investment decision, that means that the oil companies and the government will have decided once and for all to go ahead and develop Uganda's oil crude discoveries. Now, developing Uganda's crude oil discoveries is going to be a three-pronged approach. One, there are areas where oil has been discovered. You go to Vulisa, you go to Maction Falls. These areas have got to be developed in terms of setting up the infrastructure that will drill, collect, store, and remove all the impurities from the oil and collect it somewhere. Once that has been done, there will be another phase of building the pipeline. The reason why the pipeline is being built is that not all, yes, to export it. Not all the oil that we are producing can be locally used.
Yeah, try to find the route to sea. So I know the detail is really very, very long.
Yes.
Plus, you talked of the preparation, building roads, etc., and all the necessary infrastructure.
Yes.
Make sure that oil and gas becomes a success in this country.
Yes.
And I saw the other day, of course, government also before. When government was inducted in the EITI, in the extractives watchdog for the industry, there was a lot of excitement as well as the things are being done the correct way.
Yes.
Let's move on to opportunities now, because we have an issue of an industry or entrepreneurs in the country who had been grading themselves for this nearly 50 billion expansion of the Ugandan GDP, but with experts faulting them for not having the right talents to strategize, read the markets, read the business, and see where to benefit from. Rather, people went and collected money from banks, etc., and started investing. And as we speak today, these processes will take some time. Okay, yes. So if I am an entrepreneur looking at opportunities in the oil and gas sector, I might have started back in the day to invest. And then there are these new ones. What sort of opportunities should I put my eyes on, and how must I strategize really very well to make sure that I benefit?
The starting point which entrepreneurs in the market ought to realize is that the oil and gas industry is building upon existing capacities and capabilities. For example, when we talk about building the processing facilities, what are they going to use? They're going to use a lot of cement, they're going to use a lot of aggregates, they're going to use a lot of steel. So which would mean that entrepreneurs in the market who have already been producing cement and producing steel have an upper hand to venture into that space. Of course, the oil industry is not compromising on qualities, standards, and the timelines for delivery. So those are areas where our local entrepreneurs who have already been playing space in maybe producing the local available products like cement need to go into, so that they improve their capacity to produce, increase their production, and then also open up a line of credit. Because
those are the big ones. Can we look at the lower end?
Now, the lower end, when you look at our local content laws, there's a requirement that some goods and services have actually got to be provided locally. And some of those include provision of catering and hospitality. You're going to find that when these people are building the pipeline, they will need accommodation camps because it's remote and mobile. So if you have capacity to build remote camps, which you keep moving, clearly you're in business. And I know there are a number of Ugandan companies which do that kind of stuff. And then security companies, you will need to provide security to secure the route, all that has been reserved for Ugandan companies. And then the local construction, civil works. We have so many local companies that participate in the construction business. So under that law, all that has been reserved for Ugandan companies. And then some services like human resource management. There are local companies here which play a role in identifying talent which can be recruited and taken up by the oil companies. That has been reserved.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
The list of opportunities is really very endless.
Yes.
As long as one is registered on the national supplier database. So all these preparations have been done for Ugandans to make sure that they participate in the oil and gas sector, this nascent industry. But let's now go to the next thing then, because it's not a walk-in that you're walking in and getting all these opportunities. Companies, young companies, which might not have expertise in legally getting involved. How do they navigate? How do I legally participate?
Of course,
get ready?
Of course, there's a view which some people hold that the oil and gas industry is opaque, that the oil and gas industry is for a select few, a position that I don't really agree with. The oil and gas industry, everyone can actually play a space in it, and it's a question of self-belief. I want to speak like a motivational speaker, and don't look at your business as being small. It's a question of you fully believing in yourself. If you already have a service and product that you're offering, do not lock yourself out of these opportunities, because already when you look at the law, when the industry explodes, there's a requirement that all tenders which are going to be awarded should be advertised, and the oil companies must have a tender office. There's also a requirement that some of these contracts should be broken down. If it's a big contract of $1 million, break it down into smaller components, which the local market can really buy it and chew. So if you believe in your professionalism, you believe in your quality and ability to deliver, please, when you see those adverts come out, do not rule yourself out. Approach the people, speak to them. You'll be surprised.
You'll be business. Now, let's talk about the envisaged challenges going forward, because it's not a smooth road.
Yes.
Given that this is a young, we're new in this. It's going to be, soon it will be a birthday for Uganda to participate in the oil and gas industry. So envisage realities and challenges to prepare for as we move out.
One thing which I've noted with Ugandan businesses, Ugandan businesses are resilient. The terrain in which you operate is very difficult, so navigating the bureaucracy, getting access to credit is really difficult. So the fact that even before oil and gas was in existence, those Ugandan companies have been resilient enough to stay in the market, that's a plus on their end. But of course, what I've noted, which may not play very well with them in the oil and gas industry, is many of the founder-led businesses do not outgrow that. So a business remains attached to a person that started it. It never grows capacity internally to outgrow the founder, improve corporate governance, make sure you keep good books of accounts, so that if someone were to come and do an audit to understand where you're going. They can have faith and trust in what you're doing, and then also getting access to credit. So that is the only thing they have to do, corporate governance.
That's fantastic, and there's a lot to learn, Dennis. And I think lawyers will take a very huge chunk of the cake in the oil and gas industry. Are you very excited? You must be very excited.
Certainly.
Unfortunately, we've run out of time. Thank you very much. Dennis Kakembo from Crystal Advocates, and he's been explaining to us the kind of opportunities that you can get within the oil and gas sector. That's the link, and that's business for tonight. Thank you. You can reach us on our social media platforms to get the details of anything that we have produced tonight.